This evening, first, the search for answers. Adriana Younge investigation deepens. As Canadian homicide expert Leonard McCoshen arrives to join the probe, Guyana's crime chief confirms the case is in the critical evidence gathering stage. Could new footage reveal the truth behind the 11-year-old's tragic death? Plus, stay safe with cooking gas. GNBS issues urgent safety advisory. With the rising use of liquefied petroleum gas in Guyana's household, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards is warning the public to follow strict safety protocols. But are you doing enough to protect your home? Also, because we care cash grants reach Region 7 and 9, parents and guardians are lining up to receive the government's annual cash grant, $50,000 per child, plus a $5,000 uniform voucher. But how are families reacting to the much-needed support? Meanwhile, Flag Days are here. Fly your colors with pride. Ahead of the country's 58th independence anniversary, Guyanese citizens are being urged to proudly display the golden arrowhead. But will this new tradition bring the nation together? Finally, Haiti descends into chaos. Armed gangs tighten their grip. With more than 80% of the capital under gang control, Haiti is in crisis. But where are the guns coming from? And is there any hope for peace? Stay tuned, these stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for May 12, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the investigation into the mysterious death of 11-year-old Adriana Younge is intensifying, with crime chief Wendell Blanham confirming that the case is at the evidence gathering stage. Speaking to reporters earlier today at the Artichon Convention Center, Blanham said investigators are exploring multiple theories, which will be weighed against the evidence collected.
The probe is ongoing. The investigation is at the evidence gathering or evidence accumulation stage. The detectives are currently examining several possibilities and theories, and at the end of the day, those theories and possibilities will be evaluated against the evidence and the facts of the report.
Blanham confirmed that retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police Officer Leonard McCoshen is scheduled to arrive in Guyana tonight to assist in the investigation. McCoshen, who was engaged by the government of Guyana, brings over 3 decades of experience investigating suspicious deaths and homicides.
I was just informed that an independent investigator will be coming in the country tonight to assist alongside the Guyana Police Force and conducting the probe of Adriana.
The crime chief assured the public that a skilled and impartial team is handling the investigation.
Our investigators have selected the best to work on this matter, and the investigators are very objective. And I've instructed them to ensure that they do not disregard any information or any evidence during this.
Adriana Younge went missing on April 23rd while at the Doubleday Hotel in Tucson with relatives. Her body was found in the hotel's swimming pool the next day. Her family maintains that they searched the pool and surrounding areas shortly after she disappeared and found nothing. Blanham revealed that while investigators are in possession of poolside footage from the day Adriana disappeared, it did not come from the hotel's surveillance system, which was not operational at the time.
Investigators, they are in possession of video footage prior to the trial. It's either prior or at the same time when an alarm was raised that she was missing.
The footage will form part of the ongoing review, and at least 2 more individuals who were present at the pool are expected to be questioned. The hotel owner, who was initially arrested, has since been released but remains under police supervision. He is required to report to the police daily and is barred from leaving the jurisdiction. DNA samples from him and the child have been sent to the Mount Sinai Health System in New York for advanced testing. An autopsy conducted by 3 international pathologists confirmed that Adriana died by drowning. No signs of sexual or physical assault were found. The Guyana Police Force has come under fire for its early handling of the case. It had initially released false information claiming the child was seen leaving the hotel in a car. The Guyana Police Force later admitted error, placing the officer on leave. The driver, falsely linked to the case, has since filed a $100 million lawsuit against the state. Additionally, 2 officers have been relieved of duty, and former Region 3 Commander Khalid Mandal has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. As the Younge family continues to delay Adriana's funeral, they remain hopeful that the ongoing probe will yield clear answers and justice for their daughter. On a different note, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards is urging the public to follow strict safety measures when using cooking gas. Dale Jarvis has more on the guidelines to prevent deadly accidents.
The Guyana National Bureau of Standards urges the public to follow strict safety protocols when using cooking gas or liquefied petroleum gas to prevent leaks, fires, explosions, and other serious hazards. As the popularity of liquefied petroleum gas continues to grow across Guyanese households for cooking and other uses, the GNBS is raising awareness on the importance of proper storage, handling, transportation, and installation. The agency's guidelines aim to reduce risks and promote safer home energy use. Consumers are advised to inspect liquefied petroleum gas cylinders before purchase, ensuring the safety seal is intact and no visible damages such as dents or corrosion. Cylinders should be transported upright in well-ventilated vehicles, never left in closed cars and stored away from the heat sources or flammable materials. During installation, proper regulators, hoses, and clamps are essential. Users should check connections regularly for leaks using a soap solution and replace worn-out components according to recommended timelines. The GNBS also emphasized that only adults should handle cylinders and regulators, and children should not operate or change them. In the event of a gas leak identified by a rotten egg-like smell or a hissing song, residents should avoid igniting flames, ventilate the area, shut off the regulator, and contact emergency services. Emergency contacts include the Guyana Fire Service at 912 and key suppliers such as Guy Gas, Massey Gas, and Sagal Guyana. The GNBS continues to encourage public vigilance, noting that consistent adherence to these guidelines can help protect lives and property while ensuring cooking gas remains a safe and reliable energy source nationwide. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. The Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, has commenced training of its management staff in preparation for the upcoming general and regional elections. The agency announced on Monday. As part of its preparations, GCOM has revised its training manuals to align with new statutory requirements introduced in December of 2022. 2 updated manuals have been published on GCOM's website. According to a statement, the manuals were developed by GCOM's Secretariat with input from parliamentary political parties who were invited to review and provide feedback. The documents are now being used in the ongoing training of temporary management staff. Applicants for temporary positions were provided with digital copies of the manuals in advance of training to ensure adequate preparations, GCOM noted. Vice President Barry Jagyo indicated earlier this year that Ghana's next general and regional elections will likely be held in November of 2025. This projection aligns with the constitutional timeline and the preparations underway by the Guyana Elections Commission. While GCOM has not officially announced an election date, the government has emphasized the importance of Commission's readiness by August 2025. This timeline ensures that all electoral systems and processes are in place well ahead of the anticipated 2025 elections. Stick around when we return. Region 1 communities benefit from solar panel distribution, and because with your cash grants, distribution begins in Region 7 and 9.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration. You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Sneak clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The government of Guyana has officially launched Flag Days, a national initiative set to run from May 24th to May 26th, aimed at fostering patriotism and unity ahead of the country's 58th independence anniversary. The initiative encourages citizens across the country, especially those in border communities, to proudly display the golden arrowhead, symbolizing Guyana's sovereignty, unity, and national pride. Thousands of flags will be distributed for display at homes, schools, businesses, and public spaces. May 24th will also feature a Flag Day concert in Regina, showcasing local artists in a patriotic celebration of music and culture. On May 25th, citizens are urged to fly their flags prominently on rooftops, vehicles, and bicycles as part of a unified national display leading into Independence Day on May 26th. Described as more than just an event, Flag Days is being hailed as a movement to reaffirm national identity and sovereignty. The government is calling on all Guyanese to participate, honor the national symbols, and show the world a nation united in pride and purpose. In other news, 595 solar panel systems were distributed to households across several communities in Region 1 this week as part of the government's push to expand renewable energy access in hinterland areas. Led by Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell, the distribution covered communities including Hosororo, Mabaruma Settlement, Barry Manabo, White Waters, and others. Minister Crowell noted that these solar panels were provided for the residents who had not benefited during the first phase of the distribution.
As a result, there were some houses that were left off that we took a list of. We have a list that we're working with, and we committed that we will have what is called a supplementary list.
Residents welcomed the initiative, noting that the new system will help children study and improve their daily living.
It will help me a lot because we do not get quarrel. And the children go to school and we're glad for the light for the children's done during the night.
The initiative is part of the government's hinterland electrification program aimed at bridging the electricity gap between coastal and interior regions. In addition to the solar panel distribution, Region 1 saw the commissioning of a $63.5 million Banabo guest house and a $6 million bakery in Mabaruma Settlement, both funded through the Low Carbon Development Strategy. The guest house features 10 rooms and a full kitchen to boost local tourism, while the bakery will help increase the local food production and reduce dependence on imported foods. Mabaruma also received an emergency response vehicle to enhance the region's healthcare delivery and crisis management. Meanwhile, the Bariman Obo community now boasts a new $7 million sewing center, which will be used to produce school uniforms and train residents in garment construction, creating economic opportunity and supporting local development. Minister Crowell urged village councils to use their resources prudently and explore phased project implementations for long-term benefit. Moving on, parents in Regions 7 and 9 are receiving the government's annual Because We Care cash grant for students. Dominic Gittins has more on the initiative and its impact.
This morning, parents and guardians in Regions 7 and 9 began receiving the government's annual Because We Care cash grant of $50,000 per child, along with a $5,000 uniform and school supplies voucher as part of a phased national rollout. Education Minister Priya Manichan launched the 2025 distribution at the Little Achievers Nursery School in Bartica, Region 7, reaffirming the government's commitment to supporting every student through equitable access to education. The initiative, backed by a $11 billion allocation in the 2025 national budget, targets 205 students enrolled in both public and private schools across the country. In addition to the grants, the Ministry of Education said it will continue to provide textbooks, stationery, and meals to enhance learning outcomes. Minister Manichan emphasized that these interventions are designed to ensure that all students, regardless of their region or background, have the necessary tools to succeed in their educational journey. Here is what some of the recipients of the Because We Care cash grant had to say.
And I feel very great for this money, knowing that I have 4 children and 1 on the way. It's a lot and it's going to benefit me and my kids.
I would like to say thank you to the government and our Minister of Education for giving us this cash grant to our children.
So I'll be using the money. My name is Katalia Atkinson and I will be using the money to buy my school supplies.
Reporting for Headline News Update, Dominic Gittins.
Thanks, Dominic. Don't go away after the break. Brazilian Catholics welcome Pope Leo XIV, but new generation drifts away from faith. And Mexico sues Google over renaming Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America.
Sneakily with the gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 and 13 to 16 hours 30. Friday, 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In North America, Mexico is suing Google for renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America for U.S. users on its map service, despite repeated objections. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum argued the U.S. lacks the authority to rename the entire Gulf. The renaming follows an executive order by U.S. President Donald Trump. Google cited its policy of following official government sources for name changes. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, gangs are exploiting the availability of guns to exert control and spread violence throughout Haiti. Since the killing of Haiti's president 4 years ago, the country has been in chaos. Armed gangs are now controlling more than 80% of the capital, and most of the weapons are coming from the U.S. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
Haitian gangs fighting to extend their control over the capital, Port-au-Prince. Most of the weapons they're using were brought into the country from the United States. Gang members say these ones were given to them by politicians.
Haiti is on the way to a civil war. There are too many weapons in the country. This situation started with politicians years ago. When there were elections, candidates came with weapons and money to popular neighborhoods, so people voted for them. Then they leave and the weapons stay with us.
And the weapons continue to flow in, allowing gangs to extend their control across the country. The UN says it made it easier for them to outgun security forces. The smuggled weapons, the report says, are mostly being shipped from ports in Florida.
Florida's gun laws are considered to be more lenient if compared to many other states. And even though there are some restrictions, many of the weapons that end up in Haiti were purchased in the state.
The shops on display in this gun show in Miami-Dade allow U.S. citizens and residents to purchase as many guns they want, although a 3-day background check is required in some cases.
These are AR-15s. These are some of the weapons that have been sent to Haiti.
Investigators say the weapons are smuggled back to Haiti in large quantities.
Once guns leave a gun store, they become very hard to stop. In Haiti and other Caribbean countries, guns wrapped up in plastic, in boxes of cereal or other products. So it becomes really difficult to stop. In Haiti, you've got problems where the gangs control some of the ports.
Armed groups in Haiti have made significant gains in the first part of 2025. A UN-backed mission and the police unable to stop them. There seems to be no control over the supply of guns, despite a United Nations arms embargo imposed 3 years ago.
It's difficult to hold the gun industry accountable in the United States because it's so politically powerful. They've gone to Congress and gotten special laws to protect them. Basic standards of civil justice don't apply to the gun industry. And then there are states like Florida that have protection laws even beyond the federal law, which make it doubly difficult.
The ease of access to weapons in the U.S. has a direct impact in a volatile country like Haiti, where gangs continue to terrify the entire population. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Florida.
As Brazil welcomes a new pope with prayers and pageantry, the nation's religious soul is starting to shift. Catholicism, once dominant, now shares space with fast-growing evangelical churches, and a new generation is drifting away from religious faith. Al Jazeera's Monique Yannicure reports.
Sunday Mass at the sanctuary of Our Lady of Aparecida, the patron saint of Brazil. Thousands celebrating the new pope, praying for miracles.
May Leo XIV continue the work of Pope Francis, spreading peace to mankind in times of war and destruction and helping the poor. The world is in desperate need for good men.
The basilica is the second largest in the world after St. Peter's in the Vatican, a monument to faith in the world's largest Catholic country. 300 kilometers away in Rio de Janeiro, Christ the Redeemer has opened its arms to the new pope. But beyond the iconic statue, Brazil's spiritual landscape is shifting. Catholics are still the majority, but their numbers are getting smaller.
As the church struggles to train and send new priests to reach out to the community, evangelical Christians have stepped in, knocking on doors in dangerous neighborhoods like this one, controlled by drug traffickers.
We believe these days it's more important to take the church to the people, offering solace when needed, than taking the people to the church.
Rocinha, Latin America's largest favela or slum, has 8 Catholic chapels, but more than 100 Protestant churches. Evangelicals now make up a third of Brazil's population, and they're gaining political clout.
Catholics are losing ground to Protestants, but both believe in Christ. The challenge now is the rise of Brazilians with no religion, young people who follow none at all, already a third of the population under 30. The church is working against the clock to get more deacons who are like me, laymen married with children, to go out on the streets.
Back at the Basilica, Huitelban has brought his children and grandchildren, but says he's likely the last of them to attend church.
The young people aren't that interested. Their interests are different.
Most Brazilians still say they are believers, but many agree it will take more than prayers and candles to keep the faith alive.
Last April, then Cardinal Robert Prevost had planned a retreat here in Aparecida with Brazil's bishops. It was canceled after Pope Francis died. Now, as Pope Leo XIV, many here hope he will return as a sign of attention to the region, but also to keep the faithful from drifting away. Monica Yanake of Al Jazeera, Aparecida, Brazil.
Senegal has exported its first shipment of liquefied natural gas, a major step into the global energy stage. But as gas flows to Europe, many at home still live without power. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Haig reports.
On land, and yet lost. In the distance, it appears like a lighthouse, BP's liquefied natural gas platform. So close, yet unreachable. The fishermen were trained in waves, promised a place on the rig. Days turned to months, months to years. The call still hasn't come.
Until now, no one is working there. Now, every time I'm looking at the platform, my heart hurts. It hurts so much.
There's no more fish for us to catch. Some are around the rig. We can't even come close.
When I see the platform, I feel contempt. It's like a luxurious European country standing in our own waters while we live in small huts. When they made the discoveries, they said it would become the Dubai of Africa.
Young men gather around one of the few who made it to the rig. Sar speaks of a floating city with restaurants, gyms, air conditioning, even 24-hour electricity. A kind of life that feels oceans away.
The gas is run by Europeans, not Senegalese. Out there at sea, it's mostly foreigners. You barely see any locals. That's why I keep telling young people, get training. This could create a lot of jobs and stop migration.
In April, BP's first gas shipment set sails away from Senegal to France, fuel to warm Europeans eager to fill Russia's void. A share of the gas is promised for locals when the country's ready to receive it, BP says. For now, many Senegalese still live without electricity.
So these children are explaining to me that this is what's left of their home and their school. And it's all been destroyed, they say, by the rising tide. We're just 10 kilometers away from the platform. And the people that live in these neighborhoods were told that the wealth that would come from the export of oil and gas would change their circumstances. But look at it now. Change has yet to come.
Senegal's new leaders want to renegotiate the old contracts, saying they're unfair. The government has not responded to our repeated requests for an interview or comment. The deal remains shrouded in fog. To many, it's a stolen treasure beneath the waves, plundered by others, leaving behind vanishing fish, shifting tides, and a life unchanged on land. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Saint Louis, Senegal.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is this Radio Weather Forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.